Hello, people. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good.
My name is Sharon Williams, and I'm going to be doing poetry for you guys. To start you off and warm you up while you're here and stuff like that. You're here because of Project Change the World, the Inspirational Room, to get inspired. And I hope that this poem inspires you to be a different person, do different things about life, and just examine a self-examination about how your life is, about life. Okay, this poem is called Perfect Imperfection. A wise man once said, that I am not perfect and I don't live to be. So before you judge me and start pointing fingers, make sure your hands are clean. Because see, to me, the word perfect is too much of a perfect word. It's far too superior and much too suburb. So as I stand here, please listen to these words. You need to hear something that you probably never heard. As I stand here, your eyes are probably judging my outer appearance. As I stand here, you're probably calling me ugly. As I stand here, you're probably calling me sexy. My point is, I'm so used to it, what you think doesn't affect me. And sometimes, I'm as quiet as cotton balls. Dropping through the air, and the spiteful things that you say aren't at all fair, so how dare you talk to me with that glare? Must I remind you that the word perfect is merely an imperfection, but I hear you talking like you're Jesus' resurrection. So please, in your mind, answer these questions. Through this, I wonder if we have a connection. Who are you to act like you're perfect? It has to be an act, because the word perfect is merely an imperfection. In Genesis, Adam and Eve were deceived. Then came Jesus, who had trouble with the Pharisees and thieves. But first it was Adam and Eve who fell to the imperfection of perfection. So my last question to you is, are you guilty of that filthy perfect?
Thank you, Sharon. All right, first of all, I want to go ahead and start by thanking you all for being here. You are the reason that this is possible. And I also wanted to apologize that the Inspiration Room wasn't quite ready to go yet. If you don't know, it's going to be right across the street at Center Stage, which is that kind of funny purple-looking building. We had to postpone the opening of that, but ideally, if all goes accordingly, we'll launch it by the end of the month and invite you guys back out to kind of check out the space and maybe even speak again. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get started. Everyone see okay? I apologize, it's kind of hard. Can you tilt the screen? I wanted to begin by reading you a blog entry, actually my latest one, that I posted on our website. It kind of will give you an idea of our history, where we've been, and the reason that I'm doing this. So here we go. 2011 was a year I'll never forget. I launched the Project Change the World website 1 year ago in hopes that it would be a portal for world changing. I wanted folks to stumble upon the website dedicated to making a difference and be inspired to join in the worldwide mega movement to make the world a better place together. It all started with a daydream. Let me take you back and tell you the true story of Project Change the World. My upbringing was challenging at times due to financial crisis, family drama, unstableness, and other personal issues. I turned on the television and saw the faces of sadness and suffering staring back at me. I went through cities and witnessed people sleeping on the streets and sacrificing their dignity for the sake of getting to eat that day. I listened to songs filled with lyrics of truth and heartache. I had my own heart hurt badly. I turned on the computer and saw news stories filled with death, destruction, and devastation. I watched friends and acquaintances fall down and walk down a path of desperation. I went out and saw people do really careless, stupid things, which I know are based off of their own personal insecurities. I watched someone I cared for deeply hurt over and over and over. All around me was a world full of needs. Lives were being shattered because the world seemed to have forgotten about them. I knew myself what it felt like to feel that way. But I also knew that there were ways to change that. Every blue moon, I met a person that restored my faith in humanity. Every once in a while, I heard a positive news story of some incredible human being doing an extraordinary act of kindness, unusual in this day and age. The show The Buried Life aired on MTV, and I was inspired. The movie Pay It Forward touched me just as the pursuit of happiness did. And as I sat in my college class learning about children with special needs back in May of 2010, it all clicked. Both every bad and every good situation came rushing into my mind as I felt sorry for the children left behind because of something they have no control over. I'll change the world, I thought. Someone has to. Why should an innocent child have to spend their whole life fighting for acceptance in a greedy world? Why should any life be treated as if it is unimportant? Why must we hurt ourselves and hurt one another so much? It all has to change, and I called it Project Change the World. 2010 left me inspired to take action as I began to do my research, educate myself on the statistics, pay attention more, find causes that were already making an impact, and do some own self-analyzing and more. I filled up notebooks with ideas, gathered facts, useful resources, reflections, and so forth. December of 2010, I built the website. I launched it for the world to see officially on January 11th. Then I began student teaching, and I had to put my whole life on hold, unfortunately, as that took up every moment of every day. Fast forward to May 2011, and I began the next phase of the kindness movement, living it myself. I was inspired by volunteering for an annual walk for cystic fibrosis, to form my own team of world changers, to go out into the community and create the good that I dreamed about. World Changers were then born, and we spent every week over the summer volunteering for Hands on Charlotte, as well as collecting donations for a family in need, attending annual walks, and on and on. The rest of 2011 flew by as we organized our own fall festival, Project Change the World Day, participated in a food drive, did more annual walks, recruited new members, did a Facebook month of gratitude, continued volunteering, attending special events, and even organized the flash mob for the homeless. 2011 was a year of discovery, both of myself and of my own passions, but also, and perhaps more importantly, of the things we too often close our eyes to and take for granted. 2011 was about becoming a better person for a world that deserves better, and working alongside incredible individuals that understand that, like you all. It's not my world, it's our world. 2011 was the best year of my life. I can only imagine the wonderful things that 2012 may have to offer. If 2011 is any indicator of the doors that can be opened, when you give more than you take, then 2012 won't see hardly a door close. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little breakdown of what's on the agenda for tonight. We are going to have, as you all know, different speakers from great local nonprofits in the community that are already changing the world in their own right. They're going to talk to you a little bit about how you can get involved, where they've been, and where they're going. We also are going to periodically show you some interesting, fun, exciting videos to kind of get you inspired yourself. We are going to be doing a fun, interactive activity where you guys are going to be creating your own resolutions, but not just those New Year's resolutions that you look at one time and never actually carry through, but actually tangible, realistic ones that you're going to implement this upcoming year. And finally, we are going to be doing some trivia. So with that being said, I am actually going to go ahead and give you question number 1. So how this is going to work is you will have a total of 8 questions throughout the presentation tonight. At the end of the night, I will collect all of your papers that you have, and the person who gets the most correct will get a prize next time we gather. And it's actually this book, which I will read an entry from a little bit later, but it's a very inspirational book. It's all about how people can make a difference. There's some really great true stories in here, quotes, you can write in it. So a variety of things. It's very, 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 very awesome. So you can just write question number 1, put your name on there, and your email if I don't have it already. And question number 1, about how many American children live in poverty? Take a wild guess if you have no idea.
Right now, True Change consists of about 5 musicians, most of which reside in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. My vision is to build and promote the contemporary Christian music and build a real strong Christian ministry around the band. The primary objective, of course, will be to help the lives of orphans. Then also building a sustainable institution that can further help other people in the community. As I begin began writing these thoughts, I felt that the greatest speech for the new year would be one which reflects what each of us strive for, and what even myself should be searching for. Each of us will be faced with challenges, and how we each deal with those challenges will decide the fate of our work and our visions at hand. Though I'm still learning and I'm no expert to the challenges of life or the best way to build our missions in life, the following were some of my thoughts and the components that I think we should examine in the new year. Building strong partnerships. It's a key part to the success of our vision of true change, and it should be the same for any person or organization that seeks to build up lives. A great mentor once told me, a baby is not born one day to simply race a marathon the next. His point was clear. In everything that we do as individuals and organizations, we all must build and climb life's mountains one step at a time. The steps of life can become easier to climb if they are climbed together. If one man falls, he can be lifted up by the other. When Mr. Miller Fuller spoke the words that he wished to wipe poverty housing from the face of the world, he began a great journey in faith, one step at a time. Let us all remember he once only held a vision. Let us all remember he had to build that first house before history would show that he built tens of thousands of houses around the world. Also, let us remember that Mr. Fuller did not build this vision alone, but it was through the will of Christ and the help of others that vision was realized. As for the steps we take in life, let those steps be in relation to those same steps which Christ once made. For if we step in his footsteps, we will overcome all of life's challenges. Let every step we take bring you further strength and courage to make the next. I briefly wanted to touch on vision. It's been spoken we should pray and seek for divine wisdom. For with divine wisdom, man can achieve anything. So how is it that a human could possess or find divine wisdom? Is it possible? Perhaps if we each make all of our choices to the eyes of Christ, we might then realize divine wisdom. If one man speaks the great words of building homes for 10,000 around the world, why is it that we cannot do the same? I believe that the same can be done in all we do, if we only seek through the eyes of Christ. Doing so is the nearest thing to divine wisdom. If it is true that we are to be as Christ was, should we not seek to build great things for his glory, those things which will stir the hearts of man? Or should we only build simple things, never stirring the heart of man? In all we do, let us do the things as looking through the eyes of Christ. If this is done, there can be no wrong. I wanted to briefly speak on unity. As the True Change Band and its ministry begins a journey in building an organization that will glorify Christ and become a financially self-sustaining institution to build up the lives of people, we already know that we need the help of others to realize this vision. We also realize the importance of what Christ prayed for in John 17:10-23. In these verses, Christ was leaving the world and he prayed to his Father that his disciples would be given the power and strength to carry his ministry throughout the world. Christ prayed that his disciples would go into the world as one, together, and as in unity. Christ also prayed before his Father that we as believers would also work together, becoming one, together, and in unity. This is the truth what was spoken by Christ. This I say to each person, if we work as one, together, and in unity, and all we seek for him will be realized, and his strength will be upon each of us to move the challenges of life, and to even move those who doubt him still today. That is the strength of unity. Ideas. I wanted to briefly mention something about ideas. There exists a saying, a fool and his money is soon parted. Ideas are the foundation of all of our work. A rich man can possess all the wealth of the world. If he invests that money into ideas which never stir the hearts of man, he will surely lose his money. I speak of ideas because if we as humans do not work towards a great idea, in 20 years we will remain at the same point from which we started our visions. I say to each person, a great idea is worth more than all that is possessed by a rich man. Community. Community is me and it is you. It is your neighbor, it is your colleague. It is your family, it is your friends, and it is their friends. Each life makes up our community. There exists no life greater than the other, and no less than the other. We are all equal. We all have a common destiny. It's called the grave. We each never are promised tomorrow, so we better make count today. For the new year, community should be our focal point. Of all points that I have touched on, none is greater than community. Who do you believe spread the ministry of Christ in a greater way? 12 men or the masses of people that Christ amazed? In conclusion, I've spoken the words of unity, of vision, partnerships, of ideas, and of community. They each play in part to one another. One without the other makes an organization weak and its people weak. In the new year, let us each examine how we can work as one together in unity to fulfill and honor what Christ has prayed for, and hopefully that we each will become one. Let us not forget the word desire. There is a saying, what has man gained if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Let our hearts desire only to build great things for Christ and for humanity, for he will not look at what we build for ourselves. He will not look. If our desire to help others is greater than the desire to help ourselves, then Christ will surely know our heart, and he will supply every need. And again, I'm working on a band. We got two events scheduled in May, Day of Unity, and we've looked Lake Me Elevation, and I've got some flyers up there. I appreciate y'all's time listening, and I know I'm in it for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Sean. What he also didn't mention about
This thing we raise awareness because a lot of people don't realize how huge this is and how widespread this is. So we do a lot of things to raise awareness. We do a lot of things to fund homes and centers in trafficking entry complete cities. Like Melissa's going to come speak in a few minutes. We're getting ready to start a home with her in Nicaragua, which is so exciting. In the back we have fair trade purses that are made by women in India. And so we're giving women in India jobs, and we're also using the proceeds from the purses to fund our rescue centers. So come back, come see what we, check out our purses. We've got a website where you can buy them. There's all sorts of things we can do to raise awareness. You can find us on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Your disclaimer first. I grew up in a family of educators and spent 12 years in the classroom as a teacher myself, so I have this tendency to talk in 15-minute chunks. So please, somebody cut me off, throw something at me, do something to make me stop after about 5 minutes. How many of you have heard of Classroom Central? Just about everybody. That's a good thing. Okay. Classroom Central, for those of you who have not heard of us, is a nonprofit that's celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, and we equip students who are living in poverty to learn effectively by collecting and distributing free school supplies. And we do that by operating a free store for teachers on Wilkinson Boulevard, just past the Charlotte School of Law. Teachers can come and shop once a month as long as they teach in a high-poverty school, a school where 50% or more of their students are on free or reduced lunch. Now, if you know anything about the public schools in our region, not just in Charlotte, but in the surrounding counties as well, you know that more than half of our public school students in this region do qualify for free or reduced lunch. Millions of children in this country are living in poverty, and in the Charlotte region, it's well over 100,000 kids who are living in poverty. So, teachers from these high poverty schools can come and shop at Classroom Central once a month to get totally free school supplies. 90% or more than 90% of the school supplies that we have in our inventory are donated by individuals and by companies. So last year we distributed over $4.4 million worth of school supplies, and we intend to up that to at least $4.6 million this year. This year we're hoping to serve over 130,000 students in 6 school districts: Charlotte-Mecklenburg, Gaston County, Union County, Iredell, Statesville, Kannapolis City Schools, and Rock Hill City Schools. So all of those teachers from high poverty schools can come and supply their students. So what kind of help do we need in addition to Most nonprofits will come here and tell you that they need financial donations to help keep the lights on, and we are no exception to that. But we also need volunteer support. You are looking at 1/8 of the Classroom Central staff right here. So there are only 8 of us on staff. We need all the help we can get. Last year we had nearly 3,000 volunteers who gave of their time to help us stock the shelves, sort the donations that come into our warehouse during back to school time. During the summer, we collaborate with communities and schools and WSOC Channel 9 on the School Tools campaign to collect school supplies that we can put in our free store inventory at the beginning of every school year. So we need volunteers to help sort those donations so we can put them in the store. Stock the shelves, help the teachers doing teacher shopping, which we have 3 afternoons each week. So we encourage you, working with Project Change the World, to come out and volunteer and help us supply our students. So that was a quick version of what we do at Classroom Central. We are relatively unique to this region. There are some other free stores in the state, and we're part of a network of 25 free stores nationwide called the Kids in Need Foundation. So look up Kids in Need Foundation, KINF.org. Look us up on our website, which is classroomcentral.org. I've got my business cards with me if you have any questions. And look forward to working with all of you to help change the world. We're doing our part to give kids a chance. Because think of it this way. When families are living in poverty, they have to make choices. They have to make some very difficult choices. They have to keep the lights on. They have to keep food on the table. And often those choices do not allow them to also equip their students properly for school. As someone who grew up in a family of teachers, I know that for decades, teachers have been coming out of their own pockets to help supply these children. In a nationwide survey that's done every year, I think 93% of all teachers who were surveyed report coming out of their own pockets, an average of $400 a year. Well, an average shopping trip to Classroom Central yields about $400 worth of supplies, and they can come once a month. So 9-10 times a year, they can get what they typically come out of pocket with over the course of the year. So we save them money and give these kids a chance. We cannot guarantee that the children who receive school supplies from us will succeed, but we can guarantee that if they do not get these supplies, they don't have a chance. We're virtually dooming them to failure if Classroom Central doesn't exist. So we will continue to do what we do with your help and to give these kids a chance at success. Thank you.
It's called What Can One Do? The forest was quiet, too quiet. From out of nowhere came the clatter of horses' hooves, and then silence again. A few moments later, a flame sprang from the dry leaves. Fire! Roared the bear. Run for your lives, cried the crow. The forest animals, great and small, all fled in panic toward the river. But one small bird remained on the far bank, watching the forest burn. What can we do? He cried out. There was no answer. But this is our home, he cried again. We must do something. It's on fire. Silence was the only answer. At last, he swooped down from his perch, scooped up a bill full of water, and flew over to dump it on the fire, thinking it this. Time after time, he flew from the river to the fire until his weary wings were singed and covered with ash. High above, the gods looked down at the chaos below, and they laughed. What in the world is that little bird doing? Asked one god. He is trying to put out the fire with a bill full of water. But why? I will find out. The god went down to earth to ask the bird. Later, when the god returned to the skies, he was surrounded by the other gods. Well, what is he doing? They all asked at once. The god replied softly. He told me, I am but one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. Tears welled up in the god's eyes and fell as gentle rain on the flames below, quenching the fire. So this is a kind of sweet story to make you feel a little better. So please welcome Miss Denise, guest speaker number 5.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. And speak a little loud.
Stand on the chair.
No, don't stand.
I have on heels. Okay. Hello, good evening. My name is Denise Ladson Johnson. I'm the founder of the CE Mentor Program, which is Opportunity Calls Everyone. The headquarters is going to reside here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina, James Island, and that's where I want to aim and direct the mentor program down to the low country because of the just great need of mentors and support and guidance that our youth needs as far as mentoring them back to the basics. Yes ma'am, no ma'am, pull up your pants, just basic, gradual, everyday mentoring that just basic. I want to first thank Suzanne, Project Change the World for inviting me and giving us the opportunity to make a difference in the world by just everyday different issues that we can all work together and gradually work together as one. I want to first share a few reasons for the great need for youth mentoring program that is designed to mentor our youth and young adults back to the basics. In a study, 46% of our teens without a mentor report a high sense of self, direction, purpose versus 25% of teens without a mentor did not identify a mentor in their life, lack the ability to identify direction and purpose. Additionally, teens with mentors reported they are significantly more likely than teens without them to challenge themselves by taking a positive risk. Notably, more than half of teens, 56%, sense the absence of mentor world would negatively affect them. These statistics are taken from Teen Today report. OC is being established to provide mentoring for at-risk middle, high school, and young adults. The program will create partnership with school systems, the community, churches, organizations, everybody that's willing to change and mentor our youth back to the basics. OC mentor matches and parent adults, volunteers, anybody who wants to volunteer, and we'll match them with youth, and then we bring them together. We have activities, community activities, outreach programs, different workshops, and that's what our goals are. OC mission is the pursuit of the following purposes: commitment. We want to inspire pro-social friendships, strong interpersonal skills, and install a sense of hope in the future. Responsibility. The focus of OC Youth Mentoring Program is empower our youth in establishing goals and following through commitment. Possibility. The program wants to expand the perspective of young people to make them aware of life's possibilities. Support. An individual is dramatically influenced by their support system. OCE wants to surround young people in a caring, learning environment. This program will serve the purpose to help change the world by becoming involved to help one issue at a time. Issues can be pregnancy prevention, dropout high school rates, truancy, anything that a youth may need as far as if a parent is incarcerated, if a parent is not absent, absent of the home by being incarcerated. Please feel free to learn more about the program by visiting www.ocmentorservices.com. You can also contact me at latsondm@yahoo.com. www.ocmentorservices.com. And again, OCE is Opportunity Calls Everyone. And I can be reached by phone 724-900-2633. And thank you so very much for your consideration of inviting the CE Mentor to this presentation.
Alright, I'm going to change things up a little bit since that's what I do. I'm concerned a little bit that we won't be able to hear all of you too well once they start getting into their act, which I've never seen them do before, disclaimer. So I'm going to let all the guest speakers go ahead and
right, good evening, everyone. I'm used to noise where I work at. There's a lot of noise, so if I talk loud, that's good. But basically, what I'm here representing Crisis Assisted Ministry. And the first thing that I want to say is that Project Change the World is everybody that's here tonight. Because it's going to take one of us to help another person in their organization or whatever it is that they're trying to build, so we can become a whole and we'll be able to assist one another in different areas of our things that we're trying to build. But what I want to bring to your attention is that I am a representative of Crisis Assistance Ministry, and basically it's a nonprofit organization that's been around for approximately 35 years. And what we do is we always ask for volunteers in different areas, whether it's donating your finances, donating your time, or donating the property that you have that is in great condition, and it could be used by a less fortunate family or a family that's facing a financial crisis at some point in time in their life. The biggest thing that I would say that I'm here for is we run a production area. We also operate a free store. And the biggest need that we have other than finances and household goods and things like that is bodies to volunteer to help us process our donations so that we can facilitate our free store with all the essentials that a family may need to come to the free store and get. When a family is facing this financial crisis, if they have X amount of dollars and they come to us for financial assistance and they don't have a lot of money, we will help make up the difference based on the criteria that the family brings to us, as well as their circumstances that have them in financial difficulty. On the other hand, when we say donate your time, we want you to volunteer, or we want you to give the things that I said earlier that you have, that you may put aside when you decide to buy some new furniture and appliances. And if you guys would call us, we will actually take on those things and we will donate them to those families that are in need for free. But my point is, what I was trying to get to is that if a family is working with X amount of dollars and they can come to our free store and say they have like 5 decisions to make, but if they can eliminate 3 of those decisions, they can more effectively use the money that they have to take care of those two decisions that they have left, because those 2 decisions may be food or gas for the car to get kids to school, or put food in the house, whereas if you come to our facility and you see what we have to offer, we can possibly eliminate maybe all 5 of those options, and they can effectively use that money to the area of their utilities or their rent. And we also help on an emergency basis. When I say emergency basis, we're talking 24 hours before the incident takes place or the moment the incident takes place, whereas the utilities are cut off or the sheriff department is actually putting that padlock on your door. We step in and we assist that family. So this is a good information point for people that you may know in the public that are facing these crises. We can help them financially to try to hold them stable for at least 30 days until they can find another stream of income, whichever comes first. But at the same time, our free stores is another asset that we have to help those families to make better decisions with the finances that they do have. We also have a furniture bank, and like I say, the furniture bank is all the large items like living room, bedroom, kitchen appliances that could be used, and you may just want a new set, or you're moving out and you have to get rid of it. Well, if you give us a call, I have some pamphlets I'll pass out sometime before we leave, but if you give us a call, we will actually come out and schedule an appointment and come out to wherever it is that you live and pick up whatever it is that you have to give to us, that we can facilitate a family that may have a place but don't have any of the essentials inside the home to function. We'll come by, pick those things up, and through a referral service or through visiting our store, we can actually facilitate all those needs inside the home for free. And I think that's short and sweet, but that's what we do. But my main cry is that whether it's yourselves or your company or your organization, my cry is to come out and spend some time at our facility and help donate your time. And donating your time, you will meet people from different areas, and it may be a word or it may be an assistance to someone that's there that's may want to hear something for you, and it's also like networking to where we can all still help each other. So on that note, basically what I'm saying here is that if we can support each other, being that we're here now, when an event comes up, then we can pretty much push Project Change the World to the point that it needs to be. And I apologize, but thank you for allowing me to come out and to share my information. But keep in mind that right here is Project Change the World. So if we can know that we're not here by chance, but if you made a decision to come out here tonight, then you made a decision to help Citizen Change.
Everybody, I'm back up here.
Okay.
The name of my organization is called the Who We Are Movement. It's a community service arts and expressions organization. Our organization is we run our organization off of synthetic imagination and not synthetic imagination, creative imagination. And that's one of the most important things. People in life, the way they interact with each other, the way they, smile, talk, whatever, walk around, their attitudes throughout a day and stuff like that, all determine how they tell a story about how a person, they live, how they grew up, what holes they were missing in life, what happened sexually, spiritually, mentally, emotionally in their lives and stuff like that. And one of the main things our organization, our targets is, we got 4 purposes. We narrowed them down from 177 purposes that related to the topic of community service arts and expressions. And we got 4 purposes and 4 projects under each purpose. Our first purpose for our organization is to gain members. Obviously, in our the program under that is to gain members. The first program is create the movement. And our only program under there is to gain members. Obviously, the organization is created, and it's tangible, and it's created. So obviously, we want to gain members such as Project Change the World and the Inspirational Room and inspire people to do good. We want to inspire people to interact with each other in a positive way, all that other stuff, that comes with interacting, gaining members for the movement. Because we want a mega movement, a mega organization. People, because it's 900, as of 2010, you probably saw that in that thing, the little pamphlet, that as of 2010, 925 million people suffer from homelessness. And all these people that just came up and spoke were speaking about different problems. And the way you can look at it is, yes, it's a lot of problems in the world, but compared to that 925 million people, it's other billions of people without that problem. So if we got those billions of people to contract with those 925 million people that are homeless, the problem can be solved. It's that simple. As simple as that. So we want to gain members and stuff like that. Our second purpose is to unite through arts. Because arts is a way of people living. The music you listen to, everything, that explains, how you feel at a moment. People say music doesn't make me feel a certain. I just listen to the music. No, it's something that's it has you feel a certain way. That's why you're listening to it. So Unite Through Arts. We have a Who We Are Movement band that's going to go around uniting through arts and getting people to listen to music specifically, so people can, so they can just walk out of there inspired to do something, and not just listen to a song and then go about their life not caring about anything. Then also we got Live, Laugh, Love. A lot of people in life, they go about life living, that's crazy what that person's doing and stuff like that. I was on a city bus one day, somebody said, Jesus loves you to everybody on the bus. And so, when the guy got off the bus, people were like, is he crazy? Not taking that, into play about, they're not living, laughing, and loving what's important to someone else. So we want to get people to live, laugh, love, and what's important to someone else. And then we have the Passion Program. It's a program stirred up to help people create, find, and pursue their passion in arts. We got the Expressions Program for people that's not local to us and stuff like that, to help them, find their passion in arts and stuff like that. We're also about to purchase a warehouse in Detroit, Michigan. When you think of Detroit, Michigan, some people look at Detroit. I was talking to him about it, but some people look at Detroit as a city where, you know, people, oh, it's run down, you know, and the auto industry's gone. You're gonna die if you go to Detroit and stuff like that, you know? But people don't look at stuff like, okay, if I go to Detroit, Michigan, you know, it's a city that needs help. I'm going to this city because it's a city that needs it. I went to the city, I walked around the whole city and never had a problem. You know, it's people there, they have urban farming and everything, people that want change for the world. You know, you don't get that in a lot of cities that's well off. People live in well off cities and they don't care about anybody but themselves. Sadly, that's the truth. And then, you know, so that's where our third purpose, which is to reach out. That's the community service aspect of the organization. One of our first purpose programs is called Project Cause and Effect. Project Cause and Effect is we want people to look at different causes. Not just, you know, not a bunch of causes, you know, domestic violence, sexual abuse, like Suzanne was talking about. You got all this stuff that's going on in the world. Yes, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of bad stuff, but then again, it's a lot of good stuff in the world. If we can get the good people to care about the bad things that are going on, then the world can change. That simple. It's you know, why let bad be up here and good be there? Why can't you let good be up there and bad be there? Bad's never going to go away, or good is never going to go away. You got to proportion it in the right way, and that's why we got Project Cause and Effect. We want people to look at certain causes, a bunch of different causes, and hopefully that cause, whatever cause we put out there, will change them. And say, hey, I want to get up and I want to go do something. You know, then we got Project Stand Still, which is one of our biggest projects ever. That's what guerrilla marketing. We're going to have people lining up streets, getting volunteers to line up streets with T-shirts, just to say, I am not perfect. Like that poem that I said, I'm not perfect. Right now, it's 8,000 people, 4,000 to 8,000 homeless people in the city of Charlotte. And you got 2.2 billion people that live in Charlotte and surrounding areas. Why is it 8,000 people homeless? Why? It doesn't make sense, you know? And then we got the Intrinsic Project, getting personal with people. That's one of our main focus of our organization as well, you know, is to get personal with people. You know, instead of just pointing a finger and saying, you know, how about get up, go volunteer, like all these people were asking to volunteer. I want to go to everybody's thing, you know, and volunteer with everyone because everybody needs it. When you don't do it, when you don't get up and you procrastinate and all that stuff is just going to go all the way to the top. That's just how it's going to be. Then we got the chain effect. Hopefully all this stuff, we can't force anybody to do anything. You know, it sucks for some people for them to say, oh, I got to get up and do something. But somebody saying don't do this or don't do that, it sucks because people want to do so much bad. And when you get a good response about something, when someone that's want to do good and they're not perfect people and they're trying to change and stuff like that, you get people to just knock them out of the way, and you get people that don't care and stuff like that. You know, it sucks to, you know, so hopefully, chain effect, you know, we tell people that look what we're doing. You should want to do something too, you know. Look what we're doing. Hopefully, do something. People out here need you, you know. I've come from a family of poverty, you know. I've been through a lot of things, you know. Everybody here has been through their own things, mentally, spiritually, personally, sexually, whatever. They've been through, you know. And we're all missing out of different cups and holes in life and stuff, and it's up to each other to fill those holes, the voids. And then our last thing is to impact people, inspire people, and empower people. We want to impact people to do the right thing, empower people to do the right thing, and just get people to do something. That's all it takes is to get people to do something. It's not rocket science at all. You know, so that's it. Also, if you want any contact information and stuff like that, we're about to be doing a lot of stuff in Charlotte. We've been planning for 2 years. Right now, so now is the time for us to do something. 2012. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm Melissa. I spent last summer in Matagalpa, Nicaragua. I was working with some street children there, and the more I became a part of the community, the more needs I saw. And I met two sisters. They were 12 and 14, and they became prostitutes because they had no way to eat. I met an 8-year-old boy who had been abandoned by his family. they moved to another city and didn't tell him, and he was by himself on the street. I met a 16-year-old boy named Alex who, 2 years ago, his brother had gotten tangled in electrical wires. His parents got to their son and pulled him out, but they both died. So Alex at 14 was the head of the family, and the youngest child was 2 at that time. There are times when you meet someone and you know they're going to be a very, very important part of your life for the rest of your life. And that's what happened when I met Alex. And within 3 days of meeting him, he started calling me mother. And I decided I wanted to adopt him and his younger siblings. I started looking into it. In Nicaragua, you have to be 25 and married in order to adopt. I'm 23 and I'm single, so obviously that would not work. So I started trying to figure out what my options were, and I decided to start a home for children. I knew another girl, she was 12, her name's Esme. There is an old woman that she's living with, and the old woman lets her live there, but the woman beats her and sends her out begging. And she's a sweet girl. You look at her and her face just glows like a candle, and she always has children with her that she's just taking care of. She's always holding a baby in one arm and a little kid by the other. And so I wanted to form a safe place where girls like Esme, where Alex and his siblings, where those 2 girls who become prostitutes to eat, I wanted it to be a safe haven where they could come, be fed, go to school, where they wouldn't have to beg, where we could give them hope for the future and life beyond what they're used to. So at that point I was on my own and I needed to find a nonprofit to work with. I found Sarah was a good friend of mine for many years, and I became a project of her nonprofit Back to the Roots. So I'm the second children's home now that's a part of Back to the Roots. In 2 weeks I'm moving permanently to Nicaragua to start and run this. I have my 6 children there. My 6 children there, and there are more that will come. Our vision for this home is to connect children who are hurting and in need of love and food and care with, there are so many women there who are abandoned. Either they're married, they have a few children, and their husbands leave them for younger women, or they were never married and the man just disappears and they're left with several children, and they have to find a way to feed and care for these children and work and provide, and it doesn't work. So what I want to do is connect these women with these children, and in about 2 or 3 years, we're going to start building. We're going to build some land, build a lot of small homes around each other, and put these women and these children, so these children have their own house mother, so it's a small adult-to-child ratio. And then we're going to start a rehab center for women coming out of sex trafficking. The man that runs the nonprofit Sarah and I work with, he's been part of sting operations where they go into these brothels, they pull these women and children out and take them to a rehab center where they learn a trade, they heal, they learn how to live life again as they should have been able to live it all along. And so we'll be starting that up in a separate area of the compound. So that's what I'm doing. That is my life now. And if you all would please just be praying for safety. It's dangerous. It's a communist country. I have to have a guard with an AK-47 outside my door at night. And so we need safety as a group. We need favor with the Nicaraguan government. The government has been shutting down all the children's homes in Nicaragua, and we need their permission to open. Our angle is that we're a rescue center for children at risk of prostitution and trafficking, but we still need their permission. So please just be praying for that. And if you're interested in getting involved, we are in need of things like cloth diapers and children's underwear, clothes, baby bottles, things like that. And then also we have groups starting coming over the summer. If you know of anyone that would be interested in coming and helping, right now it is just me by myself. And that'll get difficult, so I'm in need of as much help as I can get. So thank you all.
How many of you like kids? How many of you like bicycles. Okay, we put kids and bicycles together in kind of a unique situation. The founding principle behind Trips for Kids, it started in the late 80s in Northern California by a woman by the name of Marilyn Price. She found out that giving kids an opportunity to get out on bicycles into environments that they weren't used to being in, which is the woods, nature, outside of neighborhoods, was kind of an enriching experience. And it was also designed to reinforce some basic life skills by teaching things like cooperation, respect, because you were using somebody else's property to do this, you were there under adult supervision. So this is carried on to about 70 chapters throughout the U.S., Canada, and there's one in Israel. We, here in Charlotte, were formed about 13 years ago. It's a nonprofit. The physical presence of Trips for Kids, you may know, is down the street off of North Davidson at 15. It's called a recycler. And it is a place where we take in donated bicycles. So one of the things that this organization looks for is bicycles that people have stopped using, either because you've outgrown them or because you've decided that that's something that was fun during your childhood but it's no longer fun. We thrive on those. We have a group of volunteers that are interested in working on bikes. We'll take in any bicycle, and if it's salvageable, we'll make that safe and rideable. And then it enters one or more of our programs. There are three basic programs we have. One is the ride program. This is how Trips for Kids started. I described that a little, where we take kids under adult supervision out to either Fisher Farms, which is a park in Davidson, or Beatty Park in Matthews that has mountain bike trails. And we have bikes that were donated by REI, Dirt Eagles, other organizations here locally. And we spend Saturday mornings, usually from the beginning of February through the end of November, every Saturday, we take kids on these rides. So we're getting them out into situations that they may not have had an opportunity to be exposed to before. That's the ride program. The second part of what Trips for Kids does is an earn a bike program. Kids that don't have bikes can go through a 6-hour class on bicycle maintenance and safety. Leave that program with a bicycle, a helmet, and lights. So basically, they're ready to go on kind of a new form of independence. Those bicycles, again, they come to us through donations. Some organizations sometimes donate new bikes, but most of our bicycles come to us from people like you, who either have bought a new one to replace one, or kids as they're growing will end up with bicycles. And the last part is that we also run out of the recyclery, we offer you the opportunity to kind of buy those bicycles. Not all of them are given away during the program. Something else we just got involved in, this is a little quiz. Does anybody know what this is? It's not a weapon. I just happened to have it on me today because I spent all day in an elementary school with some of our bikes. We work with Safety Town. This is called pedal wrench. This puts pedals on a bike, it takes pedals off a bike. One of the things that we've learned is you take pedals off of a bike and put kids on that bike who haven't learned how to ride yet. They learn how to scoot. They're called balance bikes. And you may have seen them for sale in stores, anywhere from $70 to $150. You can make your own balance bike. You get a small bike that a kid can stand over with his or her feet flat on the ground, take the pedals off, and let them go. They will learn how to balance on that bike on their own with a little guidance. You don't have to walk along behind them, holding the bike up, and you don't have to deal with training wheels. And in many cases, we find it takes a half an hour for a kid to learn about balance on a bike. Put the pedals back on. Adults too. Any adult that doesn't know how to ride a bike, be happy to show you how to do it. Trips for Kids has a website called tripsforkidscharlotte.org, and we look for volunteers to come in and learn how to work on bicycles, repair the bicycles that we get in that are then used in the program. Great. Thanks for your time.
Yes.